Welcome to Higher Africa.
Thank you very much.
You're putting on glasses.
Yeah, my eyes. So I have a little bit of a twitch.
Okay, come on, you can put them back.
In the midst.
Okay, fine. So let's do the intro. Welcome to Higher Africa, the show where we dig into the stories of African builders, creating solutions for the continent and the world. Today we're joined by Arthur Muyepa. Arthur Muyepa, right?
Yes.
Cool. An experienced fintech leader. Is that true?
That's a bit of a stretch. One on you. That's a bit of a stretch. Expert is a heavy word.
But everyone is an expert.
Everybody thinks they're an expert.
Yeah, everyone thinks he's an expert.
Yeah.
And because sometimes people have argued that you start being an expert when you have like 10 years of experience.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like that. But
what do you become after that? A specialist? What comes first? A specialist or an expert?
I think you're a specialist.
Before you become an expert?
Which I don't think is even true.
I have no idea.
But I think to become an expert, you just have to name yourself. I think it is. Because everyone right now is an AI expert.
Everybody's an expert in something.
AI expert, right now is an AI expert. But it's like, okay, when did we get the buzz of AI? It's like, how many years?
Exactly. And how long does it take?
How long does it take for you to get to be an expert? I think you did like a LinkedIn course.
I mean, Udemy.
After that, you're an expert.
Yeah, fair.
So I think you're an expert, man. For the sake of
let's go with expert for now.
The expert for now.
Sure.
Yeah, not a leader, right? Like fintech leader.
Leader is a stretch. You're a leader.
No, I'm not, man.
Leaders.
Okay, yes, fintech expert. Currently leading pawaPay operations in Malawi, Lesotho, and Botswana. So we'll be talking about building B2B fintech infrastructure, navigating regulatory ecosystems, and what it takes to lead mobile money operations across Africa. So Arthur is a strategic operator with deep experience in marketing, as far as I got it.
Yes.
I have to give you what I got.
That's the one that I can.
These things that you put on LinkedIn.
Yes. People believe them.
People believe it.
I love that.
Yes. So experience in marketing, product partnerships, and financial inclusion.
Yeah.
So from co-founding incubators and running creative agencies to leading multi-country fintech expansions.
Yep.
He's got a unique lens on both product and marketing realities. Welcome, Arthur.
Thank you very much, man.
I'm excited to have you.
Then you've been calling people here. I was wondering when.
Yeah, I'll call you, right?
I was like, Mike doesn't like me that much.
No. I told you. Remember we met at BICC?
Yeah.
And I told you that I need to have a chat with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I think you have an interesting story because you understand what is happening in not most of the countries, but in a few countries that you're operating at.
Yep.
That is the importance of this platform.
Yeah.
Because we focus on Africa.
Okay.
And we want to give people perspectives beyond talking about, tell us about the project that you're doing in data. Or what about the one in Ikasuga?
This is a large place.
It is, yeah. But I think we have to talk about the continent. There's so much that's happening in this place.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's start from it. Walk us through your journey, man. So I was checking your LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So you did like great ads. You worked with some guys there, Incubate. You're doing some work there. You worked with Lego Stars.
Yes.
I worked with Lego Stars at some point as well.
Yes.
Okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
We worked with NIF.
Yes.
Ash, walk me through your journey up to now.
It's an interesting one, eh? Starting graduated Pole 2016.
Yeah.
So since graduation, really, fortunate enough, a group of friends and I founded Incubate. So that's 2015. Got a grant from Tony Lemelu at the time. So that sort of like fueled our passion to go into entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And the aim of Incubate essentially, as an incubator, was to create an environment for up and coming youth such as ourselves. Little do we know, it's very tough, 22 years old, to lead other 22-year-olds to do anything, right? So lo and behold, that fails miserably. And then I had to make a tough decision, essentially. So throughout the time, my passion is in twofold, right? So projects and marketing.
Mm-hmm.
So I leaned into the marketing. So that's where Great Bads was born. So Great Bads is essentially at the time in the buzz of social media management. Mm-hmm. So I was doing a bit of work for a lot of clients at List, but we'll be here all day. So
okay.
So from Great Bads, essentially that's when you see me jumping from office to office. So I've worked for several, NEEF being one of them, as a marketing communications officer, and then, entered the funny and interesting space of fintech with Dollar, and haven't left ever since.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, man. It's an interesting story, but I think it's a story of every Malawian who's trying to survive.
Yeah, true.
Because usually you start with you build something.
Yeah.
Usually it fails because of the
environment.
Yeah. And after that, because of that initiative, I know most of the employers are always looking for people that have initiative.
Of course.
And automatically you're going to have that kind of backing with you because you were able to create something of your own, whether it failed or not. But at least you have a story.
100%.
So when you go for an interview, at least you have a story to explain.
Yeah.
Unlike people who just leave university and straight there just applying.
I mean, it's a dog-eat-dog world out there. So
Yeah.
that is definitely, it's a path to take.
Yeah.
But, as you say it rightfully, anyone with initiative has an upper hand, especially in this environment.
It is. I think it is my thinking, right? If you have like a fourth-year project that you have, take that through and take that to the market.
All the way.
Yeah. See what it's going to do. If it works, then stay there.
100%.
If it doesn't work, at least you had an initiative.
And we're talking, off camera, just before this, about MVPs, right?
Yeah.
So, that is the perfect idea. I think that should be mandatory.
It should be mandatory. You should be able to run something.
You know what I mean, right?
Before you get it and saying, okay, fine, I'm an expert. What have you done?
What have you done?
Yeah.
But at 22, I thought I was an expert in business.
Yeah, I'll tell you. There was a time I thought I was an expert as well.
Yeah.
I was talking to different people. A while ago, I used to run this platforms called Skills Update.
Oh, nice.
It's coming back, of course.
Okay.
And then I would move across Malawi, teaching people. By that time, I didn't even have.
What were you teaching? What sort of courses?
Project management.
All right.
A&D.
Yes.
Like editorial development and whatever.
This is before you got into AI.
Before I went into AI. But remember that time I didn't even have a paper.
Damn.
But I was teaching people that had masters and coming from these international organizations. But I just had initiative.
Of course.
And I was moving around, organizing trainings.
And as long as I've known you, at least, like, you've been self-taught, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the things. That's the initiative, I guess.
It's initiative, man.
Yeah.
And then, moved up to here. But it's good to hear your story as well. From university, everyone from poly. I think I've said it something. I was talking to Bright this other day.
Yeah.
Poly people.
Yeah, there's a couple.
Yeah.
The Lipengas, Maestros. There's a couple of people.
There's a lot of English in that other place, right?
That's tough. Because everything's about proportion, right? So what proportion of people from poly end up starting something?
Yeah.
Which is, But I think overall, I can name, like, the top of my head, Prince, Chikweva, like people even like MC Gome, for instance, someone that's doing multiple things at the same time. So there's a lot of things happening, but it's not just isolated, I think, to poly. But
I think most of the investors, you'd have those ones that would dare to be different.
Yes.
Because, well, at the end of the day, it is what it is. You choose your path.
Yeah. Where were you, by the way?
Zuni.
So what did you study?
Strange.
It seems like I'm the one doing it.
No, I did theology.
Is it theology?
Yeah, I'm a pastor, bro.
No, that's another different podcast.
It has to be different.
That's a totally different podcast.
Yeah, you can imagine from theology to talking tech.
What?
And doing a lot of tech and leading tech.
I would love, indulge me. I would love to hear about the intersection between AI and theology.
Would be an interesting.
That's crazy conversation.
Would be interesting. Let's move on.
All right.
How has your creative and communication and marketing background helped you in the fintech operations? I think there should be some added advantage that you've got.
Yeah. I don't know. So I met you before you met me. So I met you through Marumbo, Sijinga.
Oh, yeah.
I remember very vividly. Marumbo
was supposed to come here.
Yeah.
I don't know what has happened. He's
lost in the world.
He's lost in the world.
Yeah.
I see what he's doing.
EVs, man.
EVs.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Pushing.
Exciting for him. But if he's coming back, I think I still have his number.
Definitely. Definitely.
She'll have him around
Yeah.
and talk.
So
yeah.
So even back then, I mean, with Mara and our other friends, that we're doing events, right?
Yeah.
So even that aspect alone of just event management
Mm.
got me into doing like Tech Tuesdays and
Yeah.
Fintech Fridays, you know. So just that, like, just being able, and then marketing as well is a very sociable skill. Communication, right? Being able to, you know, present things eloquently or succinctly. So everything that I learned, I would say, in marketing has like more than multiplied my efforts in fintech.
Yeah, and I think you reminded me about the Tech Tuesday.
Yeah.
You called me to speak in one of
Yeah. Awesome, by the way.
What happened to the Tech Tuesday?
No. So nothing really happened to it. I just thought it had sort of run its course. So I thought that I'd address that sort of community, and we're planning to do, or I'm planning to do, a lot more Tech Tuesdays.
Because I would tell you,
yeah,
I would encourage you to do it.
100%.
I would encourage you to do it.
Yeah.
I think in Malawi we don't have a lot of events, specifically tech ones.
Yeah.
Like a community where people would meet and just discuss tech.
100%. 100%. So what we're doing, I don't think you turned down my Fintech Friday invite. You didn't come through.
There was a Fintech Friday thing. Huh?
Yes. So that's what we're doing now. So basically, these two events are addressing two different. Right. Okay. So Tech Tuesdays, I've seen, it's a lot of developers, a lot of sort of up and coming, you know, techies trying to like come up in the space. So that's a really good platform for someone like you to come there and then, you know, show them how to do things. But then the Fintech Fridays essentially is for, you know, the UN sort of, you know, like the players, you know,
players in the sector.
Yeah, the fintechs, the banks. Like let's have conversations.
You invited me, right?
Yes.
I think.
And then you ghosted me.
No, you invited me as UNDP then.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, so what usually happens with that is when you get an invite, you usually have to pass it through someone.
I remember this conversation.
Yes,
it has to be through proper channels.
It has to be through proper channel, and that person has to approve.
Absolutely.
And if they don't, you don't come.
Absolutely.
So if it was now, I'll come through. But I think because of the you wanted me in that position.
Yes.
And that position required me to ask someone. And usually they will say, okay, fine, you're going this invite. Okay, fine, let's get a senior person to be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Not you. Which is okay. But that's the protocol for most of organizations.
No, next time. So yeah, man. So those two different events. So we've done a few Fintech Fridays. Okay. And then we're hoping to do like the Tech Tuesdays. And then hopefully just one large one. We're bringing those two sort of.
But I think the smaller ones are better. I'll tell you that the big ones for me are just formalities and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the smaller ones where you do them at night and then people just grabbing a drink and then talking about technology. That's where you strike deals.
Exactly. I saw you had Chico here the other day.
Yeah.
So Chico and I are trying to do something between pawaPay and DevDirt.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I'm trying to get an event together.
Yeah, do that. I think
absolutely.
It will be a good way to do it, and I know Chico is always passionate about
definitely movers and shakers. Yeah,
you guys.
We're aspiring to be like Chico. More like you.
No, I say you wanna be humble. I say you
not even
looking like after what? How many countries? Like you're the man. Okay, what are the key lessons transitioning from the marketing and business roles, development roles that you have? To managing partnerships, specifically in the regulatory space. Because for me, my thinking is the regulatory space is crazy, man. Specifically for you just to set up a shop, and you are always moving country to another country, setting up the operations for example, pawaPay or any other brand that you're supporting at the time. The question is, like, how do you get these skills and transition into that?
People, man.
People, right?
Yeah. Everything starts and ends with people. So if you have great relationships with people, it's like that's half the job. So I mean I think I think I'm a personable human being. I'm easy to talk to. I think so. I mean, like I'll give an example. Let's say with RBM, for instance, right? So it's understanding that like they have a way of doing things, right? And I think I don't want to speak for anybody, but I think sometimes we go into these countries and then think that we can, like, push our way through, or but it's understanding. So if you have those relations with people, those people will then tell you exactly how things are done, right? They'll tell you that, Arthur, this is not 2 weeks. This is 2 months.
It's 2 months,
right? And then it's up to you to manage the expectation, like internally. Say, hey guys, this is not a 2-week thing. This is a 2-month thing. So what are we gonna do to make sure that this doesn't hinder our operations in any way, right? So I mean, people. So even going into Botswana or Lesotho, for instance, the first thing you do is meet people, right? Say, I'm in the country, love to grab dinner or something, and then you just understand, just listen. So when you go in a country, what's your first thing? Research the people, find them, know where they're drinking. No. Find out what they're drinking first.
What they're drinking first.
What they're drinking first.
Sure
and if they drink.
And if they drink.
Exactly.
So if you go to a particular church, you know you have to go there.
Exactly.
Make
right?
sure that you know your verse as well.
People, imagine, right? Your counterpart is Muslim first.
Yeah.
And then your first instinct is like, yo, let's go to that such club.
Oh,
just be like, hey, relax.
Yeah, you have lost the person.
You've already lost the person, right? So it's understanding, it's like, hey, what do you guys do here on a Saturday evening, for instance? I don't know. I'm free from 7 if you are. Let's see if we can get together or something. Cheers.
I think that's what people forget. I would say people in the context of operators in the space. They forget this element, and most of the times if they're coming in, this is coming in a meeting that it's going to happen in a boardroom. I always think that's a bad way to intro anything.
It's not the best way.
Before the boardroom, it has to be the personal.
I mean, even research, man. So just knowing, for instance, what a place like Lesotho, for instance, right? Yeah. They are very much similar but not identical to South Africa, right? So understanding that, for instance, I don't want to mispronounce this, but Masutu, people from Lesotho are very different people, from South Africa. Understanding that, just gets you further. Because then, and I learned that from asking the person that was hosting me, say, hey, and she broke it down, this is the mentality here. If you want to get this done, you would have to go through this way. And yeah, man, because people just think, okay, people from Swaziland, people from Lesotho, they're all this.
Yeah, I think everyone thinks they dress us somehow
it's not the case.
It's not the case.
It's not the case.
Yeah.
You need you proper need a pass to get into SA from Lesotho. That's how different.
Wow.
Right?
Wow. Okay. Cool, man. Let's talk about pawaPay. You're the big man there. To whatever extent.
Yeah.
But as far as your country rep, you are a big man. So what is pawaPay? What's the problem that you guys are trying to solve in that?
Yeah. So pawaPay is a payment service provider. Yeah. Essentially what that means is we are more specifically a mobile money aggregator.
Yeah.
What that means in basic language is that we collect money and disperse money on behalf of merchants. So our customers, who we call merchants, think of Bear Power, for instance, right? Which is a really huge merchant for us. So whatever, if you bet, do you bet?
Do I?
Yes.
But I don't want to say something. I have a developer doing something.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hush. Yeah. So I mean, we help merchants or support merchants in collecting funds and dispersing. So the problem we're trying to solve is very simple. Trying to facilitate trade, make that process of collecting and dispersing seamless, as easy as humanly possible.
Okay, so you deal with the telcos. So you more or less bridge the gap between the telco, if it is mobile money, to essentially, but in this context, I think we're talking about B2B for you, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, let's just break it down because I think B2B and B2C is a bit different.
Yes.
How do you serve people? Can I just jump into pawaPay?
Yeah.
I want to set up.
No. 100%. So it's more B2B2C, right? So all our merchants have customers.
Yes.
That's why they're in business.
Yeah.
So they have customers. So PayPal is a really good example because everyone understands how billing works.
Yeah.
Right. Apart from you, right?
No, I do.
So
I just don't have Vietnam sometimes. It's weird. It's come on, guys.
Fair enough.
Nah.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's bad.
It's a long story.
A long story.
Okay. So we support merchants. So Our partner is PayPal in this example, and we have integrated with Ethiopia Money and MTN Malawi. So we're supporting when PayPal is integrated into our API or our system, and we're integrated to the MNOs, the mobile network operators, and that essentially enables PayPal, whoever their customers are, whenever they're betting, when they're let's say topping up their wallet, to do that seamlessly. So you've seen obviously like the push prompts, like click a button, it tells you put in your pin, That's us working in the background, essentially. Yeah.
Cool. So more it's like a payment gateway to an extent.
More of an aggregator.
More of an aggregator.
Yeah. So I get this all the time.
Yeah. Because the gateway and aggregator are
very different.
These two types. Yes.
Very
break it down for me.
So I mean, I don't want to, because I'm not a source matter expert. But
you are the expert.
No,
as long as you have done a course on LinkedIn, you are the expert.
You do. So aggregator, essentially what the main difference is, as a gateway, the funds are essentially just passing through your system, right, to get into the merchant's owned wallet.
Yeah. But
we are collecting on behalf of that customer. So when you're sending money to PayPal, we are collecting the money on behalf of PayPal, right? So if you, for instance, do that transaction, you see even the SMS is written pawaPay, right? Because we are collecting, it's coming into our wallet, and then the fund flow essentially from the customer into our wallet, and we push that money into our bank account and then settle the merchant.
Yeah, the merchant later on.
Exactly.
What happens if someone wins?
It's just vice versa. So the money essentially is topped up by the merchant from the bank account into our wallet, and then we push that from our wallet as a disbursement or payout into.
And then you do settlement later on, like.
Exactly.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Cool.
Pretty much.
Sounds interesting.
Very basic.
Very basic, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. So that's how you solve this problem, specifically of a merchant talking to Airtel, dealing with that.
Which is not an easy process. Actually, they'll be the first to tell you.
Yeah.
It's not an easy process, right? So I mean, if let's say you want to open a shop, an e-commerce shop tomorrow, right? It's very, very easy for you to sign up on our platform and start collecting the next day, right? The MNOs is not the easiest.
No, it's not easy.
It's not the easiest.
It's not going to be 1 week. It's not going to be 2 weeks.
And then on top of that as well, I think the main one is, or the main benefit is for multinational companies.
Yeah.
Right. So companies like PayPal that are not just in Malawi, right? They're operating across the entire continent.
Yeah.
Right. For them, it's very difficult to then start the same process in multiple jurisdictions, right? Get lawyers, get staff, open companies, do all that process just to collect funds, right?
Yeah.
Our goal, for instance, is like the Spotifys, the Facebooks, the YouTubes, right? For them, it's very difficult to have 20 different lawyers across the continent doing 20 different things. Because we have the licensing, we have the integrations. So once they plug into that API one time, they can just literally just go live.
They can just go live in different countries. How many countries are you guys working in?
We are currently in, I don't want to get this wrong, but I think it should be 20 now. So last time I checked,
that's a big number.
It is.
It's a big
and
number.
Growing as well. And growing. That's why I think I could be short.
Yeah. It's even more than FaceTime. 5 countries. I was shaking. I was like, guys, are you?
No, but I guess because they are more Western facing.
Yeah, more Western. But even the Western offer they have is not like all the countries. It's like Kenya, Ivory Coast, and there's South Africa as well.
Interesting.
Yep. And I was like, okay, so
interesting.
5 only?
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, that's good. That's good. I have a weird thinking about FaceTime.
Go for it.
I think the acquisition with
the Stripe? Was it Stripe?
Yeah. Maybe it was to slow them down.
Could be. That's controversial.
I have a weird
That's controversial, but let's
I have a weird thought.
Let's put a pin in that one.
A weird thought. It's not true. It's just a weird thought.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
My days. Yeah.
So, when it comes to this one API and you plug in, I
Yeah.
think that's one of the interesting things that
Yeah.
I even had to put in the prep.
Mm.
It's if you want to operate in different countries, it's difficult. You have regulations and have that.
Yes.
If one API gets you there, wow, it's a game changer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What was the thinking behind that? It's like
Sorry?
I think that's the innovation element that you guys brought in.
Yeah, pretty much. So I mean, it's not totally isolated to pawaPay, right? But then it's the way we do things in the sense that we, for instance, we've been in operation for 4 years now.
Yeah.
5 years, sorry. Right? Since the birth of the company,
Yeah.
just 5 years. Right, and in the entire time we don't do bank cards yet because we're trying to focus on mobile money. Because not only is there the opportunity there, but also I think we believe that like that's where like people are going to.
Yeah, it's weird, and I think I have that question in more detail later on. Let's talk about the expansion to Botswana, Lesotho, which you led. To whatever extent you did it. I want to understand the strategy in these markets. The markets you're talking about are not the appetizing markets for most of the fintech companies. I'll tell you.
You think so?
Okay. That's why I would say that you see companies like Paystack and the like focusing on the big markets.
So Flutterwave is in Botswana, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah. Or I've heard, at least.
Okay.
From my research.
Okay. Yeah.
From my research.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, somebody, I don't know.
Because most of the times you see that most of these companies will focus on the Western market.
Yeah, true.
And then maybe a bit of isolated markets in Southern Africa. And they'll do South Africa. And then they could jump here and there and do maybe, I don't know, which other country they will focus in.
True.
Right? But Lesotho, Botswana, right? Malawi. Are you also in Zambia?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, you see, these are the
Zambia, Tanzania, Mozambique, Angola now.
Mozambique as well.
We should be going to Angola as well.
Yeah, not an appetizing kind of rich market.
Yeah.
Anyone will say that.
Yeah.
They'll go to what's the strategy?
So I think it's all driven by the need to facilitate trade across the continent, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, for the countries that I'm leading expansion in, it's more to do with our partners, right? So BitPower, for instance, or Yellow Card, if they're going into a country, they would probably ask us, like, hey, have you looked into Botswana, for instance? We're looking into operations in Botswana, right? So someone
demand driven,
exactly, right? So or I guess in other countries it's more okay. Ethiopia, for instance, huge market. People talk about Kenya. They talk about Nigeria.
I wonder why.
Ethiopia is huge.
Even the country itself,
second largest population on the continent.
Yeah, even the country is like millions of people. But also, like it's money flowing, right? So the buying power, like there's this money flowing, and these people are getting digital very quickly. Right, but people don't think about places like Ethiopia, right? Which is I only think of Ethiopia, even if you think about expansion of a product.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, if you can just even conquer Ethiopia with your product, you're done.
You're done. You're good.
Yeah,
right.
I need to check how many from Ethiopia.
We're licensed in Ethiopia right now. We're going live. I believe if we're not already live, we should be going live. Hopefully this month. Yeah.
Yeah. How many people in Ethiopia? I was checking Montenegro.
How did we get to Montenegro from Ethiopia?
Just checking. Show you what I was researching.
Yeah. Do you still use Google? Because everyone's using ChatGPT or Gemini.
I still use Google, man.
Okay.
It's close to my heart. I still fight this battle of moving on from the normal Google, but because they're integrating the AI.
Yeah, true. Especially with Gemini.
Yeah, because a while ago, I would want to. They would just give me links. As of now, they're giving me a summary
and like a breakdown.
Yeah. True. So, Ethiopia has 128 million people as of 2023.
Yeah.
Wow,
that's insane, though.
Wow,
that's insane.
128
it's
million.
It's large. Like my colleague in Ethiopia keeps reminding me, he's like, Arthur, this place is huge.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know what Addis is the population is, but it should be crazy as well.
Yeah. This is
it should be crazy as well. So I think after Nigeria, they're the largest.
Yeah, I think as of 2025, I got something here. Is 135
and growing.
Yeah, 135 million. But that's a big number.
It's crazy.
And
Because you have to look at the birth rate and all that. They're probably projected to be like in 2030, probably like 200. That's an insane market.
Yeah, that's an insane market, man. Wow.
Especially people that have money.
Yeah, for people that have money, and if digitalization is there,
exactly,
and your product is well received, you know that you're growing with a population, and you know population growth
100%
equals to
just look at we might be just look at the mobile penetration.
Yeah, let me check
because it should be crazy as well. I believe it's probably like in the 40s. If not higher.
Yeah.
Because I mean places like that as well. So with Botswana as well, I've seen the same thing. Like population is very small, but I think it's like 70-80% mobile penetration.
Yeah, so it's 53%.
53%.
So they have like 66 million people
with mobile money.
Whoa,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Just collecting like an equivalent of 1 kwacha a day.
No, you're good.
You're good.
You're sorted.
You're right.
You're sorted for life. Okay, fine. I see the strategy, and I think if you think about market, sometimes there's attractive markets, which are always coming in because of I think it's always about how we have coined is like we call it whatever savannah, Silicon Savannah.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes I think it's how
the glitz.
Kenya, Nigeria have romanticized
100%.
Yeah, how the startup ecosystem is growing.
Because even people overlook places like Ghana, and that's
Ghana's big as well.
Ghana's huge, not just huge. I think Ghana are leading in many fronts. In crypto, in AI, right? They're leading Africa in many fronts, right? Because their regulators have woken up before everyone else, right? So they're just creating the framework.
Wow.
Right? They're saying, hey guys, we understand that this is inevitable. Here's the playbook, or these are the rules, and play. It's like wow, come and play.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's dope.
So amazing. I'm thinking about it. I think sometimes we think about these countries based on the PR of
the glitz
operators in just the ecosystem. But I think when you think about Africa's big, and there are markets that are not mostly romanticized as South Africa, Nigeria, Ethiopia stuff. Not Ethiopia, but Kenya stuff. But you can do a lot in those spaces.
100%.
Quickly, man, let's talk about how you build and maintain strategic relationships with telcos specifically.
Yeah.
I think telcos are already making money.
Okay.
It's difficult to convince someone who's already making money that I want to be making money with you. How do you do it?
Mr. Nyoni? Have you ever looked at your bank account and said, I think this is too much, man?
No.
Have you ever or even said, now let me take 2 months off. I think I'm good. I'm good. I'll start again in 2 months. Nah, nobody. Yeah, and also it's a sense that everybody is growing, right? So the population is growing. Mobile money penetration is nowhere near where it should be, right?
Yeah,
that's growing. So they're looking at right now and where they should be, and they feel like they're behind. So
I get it.
It's a matter of anyone or any partner that can come in and help us get to where we want to be. Like that's a partner that.
And for companies like those ones, they're always hungry for.
Of course,
they're hungry for. Course. They always have this quota expectations.
Exactly.
That if you talk to the marketing person, say I can get you to your Q3, you're in Q1, but I can get you to your Q3 numbers in Q1.
Exactly.
Sure?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So, I'm gonna get a bonus.
And another thing as well, I think we've learned is transparency.
Yeah.
So, for instance, with our MNOs, we give them full access to our backend. So, QuickSight, they can go in and look at like daily transactions, look at all the KYC for anyone we're onboarding in real time. They can, for instance, we give them a monthly report, right? This is how much we process through your system. This is how much you made as fees, and so even that alone, right? So we have quarterly meetings with them, with our MNOs, and we discuss things like that, like how can we be a better partner? And these are the problems that we have. Like, we need your support.
Cool.
Right? And we're making each other better at the end of the day.
The platform is easy. I tested it, so
exactly.
I know it's easy. It's
easy. What do you integrate with? Because I know a man of a million. Another podcast.
Another podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Fair enough.
I should. There's something interesting with what you guys do.
Okay.
Because of the one API and the whole connections.
Yes.
All right, cool. Let's talk about payments in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
What's the biggest misconception about mobile money on the continent?
So I think for people like you and me, right? People that like we practically like we have seen the growth or the birth and the growth of it, right? It's stupid to think that like someone would find it complicated. But I think people think it's complicated. Because like if you look at the States, for instance, like Venmo or like I don't know what else do they have, but like that's the closest thing they have to when they think about mobile money,
they
right?
Think about the Venmo kind of
exactly, right? Which is, I mean, it's almost there.
Almost there.
But like to explain to somebody that like you don't have to have a smartphone. You don't have to have an app.
Yes.
They'll
be like, no.
How's that possible?
How does that?
Right? Yeah. But like, and then bringing them back to USSD, for instance, like explaining, you know what I mean? So I think especially for people like in North America, for instance, right? They think it's complicated.
Yeah.
So convincing them, and that's where the customers that like I would love to bring to Malawi, right? The Facebooks, the YouTube to monetize all of this stuff, the Spotify's, right? Because paying could be so easy if you're doing with mobile money.
Imagine if we were paying for our ads using mobile money. If we were paying for Spotify.
Mobile money.
For our our Netflix.
Exactly.
Imagine.
Exactly. Right. So I think they think it's complicated. That's why they don't do it.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy misconception, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I think things are changing. Markets are changing. But there's something interesting. Is Africa skipping credit cards and going mobile first for good?
I think we have. Like in my opinion.
I think Africa is mobile money.
Yeah. Because I mean the TNM, like they'll be the first to admit it. Their card flopped. They had a Visa card.
Yes, they had a Visa card. And I think most of the companies that are going for visas, they haven't made a killing out of it.
But the idea behind it, because they understood like there's certain individuals that would love to top up and then use their mobile money to make online payments. But they're forgetting that the Visa operates in a totally different regulation, right? So now they because then their their mobile network operator with mobile money whatever operations. But that's banking.
Yeah, that's banking.
Right? And banking, forex and all this, acquirers and all that stuff, right? So I think I don't know how you can bring credit cards to Malawi especially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Africa is going mobile first.
100%. I mean, even introduction of mobile money was through USSD, right?
And it still worked.
Of course.
And USSD is boring.
Exactly. And convincing somebody that no, let's imagine the USSD was phased out and everybody was supposed to use an app. Even that would be like challenging.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because there's an ease of doing things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
true. And I know people who, even if they have an app,
they'll
go for it.
100%.
Like, okay, this is. I think they feel like when you have done it through SSD,
it actually works.
The man actually works.
Exactly.
I just got to
100% though, 100%. And I don't blame them, man, because that's how they, that's how they got into it. So
I think there's technologies, USSD, and sending money just like that is popular in the space, but in other places people will be supplies. Look, you have to place first.
Yeah.
It's like we just tapping here. I was just checking today that with iPhone, we introduced that you can even tap, so you can have iPhone,
okay,
and you can
send each other money.
Yeah, you can create a payment here and just tap like that. The same, you can even get your card.
Yeah,
so you can create a payment here.
Yeah, and then just tap.
That means we're removing the POS.
But you see, that's based off NFC, right?
Yeah.
And NFC is a technology that I used to use like it's infrared essentially.
Yeah, it's
I used to send music on my Nokia with
We
friends
used to
in
do
class.
that.
You know what I mean? So it's called.
But going there, and it's
Yeah.
going to be an interesting one. If we turn all our phones into like horse,
Yeah.
POS, and gadgets.
That's interesting though.
It's going to be.
It's a fun.
Yeah, people are already talking about. Hey, people are going to steal from us because they can just get their phones, create a payment.
Yeah.
Like.
I mean, I'll tell you a funny story. I saw. What was this? So my I think it was like my sister called me just laughing hysterically. So she went shopping with my dad.
Yeah.
And the teller the attendant gets his card and then just taps it and gives it back to him without him punching it. He went hysterical.
Like, what?
He's like, no.
Steal from me.
What's that? This is this. I'm like, yo, because he like it was his first time interacting with me, right?
Yeah.
And I've made a joke, like for instance, like you're out clubbing, for instance, it's very easy. Someone just to come like the machine,
and
why not? I've not seen it proven not to happen, so I guess it could happen.
I guess it could happen.
Yeah.
People have also said that let's say someone has stolen your card, they could immediately do that. But I know with POS, if the POS is registered, I think you're gonna stress with the bank.
Yes.
Like that. So, but maybe people in Malawi, specifically Malawi, maybe they don't think about stealing like that.
Sure.
It could be a pathway. I don't want to talk about it. We'll give people some ideas.
Another podcast.
Yeah. Some ideas.
I used to watch a show on BBC called The Real Hustle.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's happening there?
So The Real Hustle basically was actual thieves
Okay.
showing you how to steal things. So it was a deterrent. Like it was supposed to like as a kid, I'm literally learning how to steal, right? But the idea was to warn people how. So you know how like the magnet strike, for instance, people things like that, right?
Yeah.
But in my head, I was just like, okay, that's interesting.
Like I want to try.
I used to practice like pickpocketing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because as a child, you know.
Yeah, you wanna.
It's crazy, but
see how it works.
Let's not give people ideas.
Yeah, let's not give people ideas because there's so much that you can do now with AI.
Yeah.
Swear. But anyway,
Yeah.
interesting that Africa is moving from. I think it's skipping the cards.
Yeah.
Cards. It's going straight to mobile, and I think most of the minerals and even you guys that are coming in with different products, you're so creating another economy. There, the same economy that you find with credit cards. That's why now you can get to an MNO and you can even get a loan.
Yes.
Right? That you use the same number.
Yeah.
And then you pay through the transaction. So it's the same activity but happening in a different way.
Yeah.
That fits for the market.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Have you just another note there? I read an article. You haven't had Weezer on the show yet, have you?
Weezer?
Jalakas.
No, Weezer
It's not around.
It's not around.
He's really
When
around.
I spoke to him.
Yeah.
I hope he'll come through at some
Definitely.
point.
I hope so too, man. So
Yeah.
he posted, I think it was an article, like I think a couple of years back, but on I don't know if it was Mobile Money Investors Bank, but then one of the things with subscription, for instance, is why it's difficult to get like Spotify and Netflix as a customer is that the recurring right?
Yeah, the recurring collection that they have to do
is
on a monthly basis.
And I think once the powers that be or the smarter people figure that out, I think it's
that we could do like the recurring model that works through mobile money.
Exactly.
That would be fine.
Because right now every single time
you have to initiate.
I need to either initiate, but then I can push the prompt, but you still have to input.
You still have to. It doesn't
then,
happen automatically.
Exactly. And then that requires that you know exactly what time you're getting the prompt.
Because if you don't,
because if you initiate it, you know because you're waiting. Exactly. So once that happens, so you can opt in one time, for instance, and then just say, hey, this is my PIN. Whatever day, let's say the 4th of every month, I would like you, like a standing order.
Yeah, standing order like in the bank. So you can collect from me.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think someone's trying to build something.
I hope so.
Yeah, someone should be building something.
I hope so.
Or maybe if it's a regulation thing that everyone has to approve, which I wonder how the same happens with
banks, right?
So what happens there? Maybe there's something that's happening.
I mean, they could claim it's more secure.
They could, they could, because I imagine if I can. But we're doing this with, for instance, with these mobile platforms in Malawi.
Yeah.
You would subscribe to a song, call a tune.
Oh, right.
They'll collect from you
Exactly.
automatically.
Without
you.
So the thing was, they weren't collecting money though. They were collecting units.
Yeah, airtime. Yeah.
Which is easier
Which is easy to.
Exactly. Because I think they can just charge you for whatever and then just take the money.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But yeah, it's
crazy.
Imagine if you're like a recurring revenue works with airtime money. It would be crazy. Alright, cool. In your view, what makes the African market unique or social engine?
Yeah.
Specifically for payment platforms.
Unique. I think I might be biased, but I think it's not just growing, right? So I'll look at two things. So I look at Africa, Latin America, and the subcontinent of India, for instance.
Yeah.
Right? So India, Bangladesh, Pakistan.
Yeah.
So looking at those two or those three, so Latin and Africa, for instance, they're both like really similar. Like both growing, both like increasing digitally at like a rapid rate.
Yeah.
Right. So I might be biased, but I think because we are so behind, we skip. As you all know, so we skip. So I think once it clicks, we're gonna skip like 10 years. And then just jump to a level where now all these companies are going to look at us and say, hey, wait a minute. Right? This is where... Because I was reading an article, Aliko Dangote posted something like a few days ago about how he's just pumped in $25 billion into Africa.
Okay.
Through, the refinery, the sugar, whatever. Right? And I'm looking at a lot of other people, the Strive Masiwas, for instance, doing the same. Right? And it's like a beast that's just like laying in stay, you know what I mean? So once it just wakes up,
you think like there's gonna be that moment of awakening. Right?
I think so. I think so.
It happens.
I think so. I mean, because you and I are what most people would consider like early adopters.
Yeah, but technology. Yeah.
But even we are sort of late because there's something. You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah, we're not doing everything. We're just doing the bare minimum.
Exactly. So imagine when the median, right? Not the bottom of the pyramid, but just this median just catches up to even where we are right now.
Wow, yeah, there's so much.
That's
I'm even thinking about people that are building products.
Exactly.
They will have like a market that's ready. So you don't have to go outside the country. That's why in other countries, even like Nigeria or whatever,
right there,
you have a company that is surviving, doing big by the local market. Two
things, man. I was listening to Vusi talk about America, for instance.
Yeah.
We're talking about this off camera as well.
Yeah.
How you could literally just operate in Colorado.
Yeah.
Just that.
Yeah.
And never expand anywhere else.
Yeah.
And be a millionaire.
Yeah, okay.
And you're right. Yeah. Right? So imagine that for like someone operating, let's say, like just in Malawi and Zambia.
Yeah. That would be amazing.
Exactly.
It's super amazing.
Yeah.
I know, let's move quickly, man. From your experience across agencies, startups, but now pawaPay.
Yeah.
What does building for Africa really require? This is one of my biggest questions. How Africa is about building for Africa.
Yeah.
And I think,
this is going to sound boring, man, but it goes back to people.
Some people
we
have to do what?
So the thing is, the way it's an old thing, but there's always I studied marketing, right? So when you study Kotler, for instance, which is like the marketing textbook, there are all these examples of companies that go into, let's say, Japan and don't understand the context, right? And completely fail.
Yeah.
But context is born out of like people, like it's habits, it's culture, it's nuances, how do people interact with each other, what is, so it's just understanding people, right? So I think with Africa, it's understanding that we have a very young population, right? We, in most parts, like education levels might not be where they are, but we are, I would say, risk adverse, right? So understanding those attributes, right, enables you to think, okay, this product works best for, like, Move, for instance, which is one of, I think it's a unicorn now, right? Move, M-O-V, I think it should be.
Is it?
Should be. I just saw a fund. I think they just raised like 160 million or something. Yeah,
Crazy.
it's crazy. But like something like that, for instance, is it's understanding that like that's the core business, and
Yeah.
you know, so just understanding people. It all goes back to that, I think.
I think I agree with you. There's a problem that companies come to Africa thinking Africa is one.
So like Zambians and Malawians, right? Like my Zambian friends like speaking Nyanja to me all the time. I keep telling, I can't hear what you're saying.
And they think
I can't hear a single word you're saying. Like I can pick up a few things, and then I speak to Gerald to him, and he will like pick up a few things as well.
Yeah.
But like we're almost the same, but we're so different,
bro. If you go to countries like Ivory Coast, for instance, which is Africa,
yes.
See the companies that are doing better there.
Yeah.
See
companies like, if you remember,
Yango and whatever.
Okay, exactly.
Right. And see the
Yango's in Zambia, but and I'm trying to bring them to Malawi, but I don't know why they're not coming.
But you see, in that place, Uber doesn't work. Oh, Uber is there, but Uber is not even a thing.
Exactly.
So they have like a different culture altogether.
Exactly.
That accepts the way things work in that specific market.
You know, there's in Rwanda, for instance, they don't have Uber. You'd think, if you think of
you know what I mean,
right? The darling of Africa.
Yes.
You know, you think they don't. They have their own. I think it's Yego or something like that.
Yeah.
But and on Yego you can borders.
Yeah.
Right, like small taxis, big taxis.
Yeah.
But it's understanding like the nuances, right?
Yeah. The context is different.
Very, very different.
If companies, and I think with your work, where you work in Malawi, but across other countries as well in Africa, you see those kind of differences. Yeah. We were talking about Lesotho,
yes.
That you have to understand the differences, and when you're building for that specific location, you have to be specific.
Very.
Wow.
Very, very.
Wow.
It's very granular, man. And Africa is not a country. You know, so I mean,
you have to look at the country.
Oh, Africa is not a country. But so
people think Africa is a country. Africa is not a country.
Africa is not a
and if you're like, okay, you're in Africa, talk to your friend in Togo. It's like, okay.
Do you know Kwame?
It's like, okay. Do you think I can just talk to someone from Togo like that easy way and then be conversed?
I don't even know like 50 people in Lilongwe. You know what I mean?
Even within Malawi, like we have how many kind of behaviors that you have to
like across right? People in the north are very different from people in the south.
Yeah. Right?
Like I'm still shocked that like there's no kabazas down like in Atlanta, for instance.
Yeah, which is weird, right?
It's weird. It's just weird.
Imagine if you're building a product and you want to go countrywide.
Exactly.
And all you are offering is...
I mean, don't go
I'm offering something for borders.
Yeah.
Go to Blanta
and then Z's.
Taxis only.
You know what I mean? It's weird. Yeah. So even that alone is just like, you know, understanding. Like, okay, how do people behave? And the charging as well, eh?
Yeah.
Blanta people don't play those games.
Yeah, they don't play games.
You can be charging 2,000 from here to there. Yes. They don't do those. They don't do that.
They'll tell you pay 500 to Kwacha here.
Tell you the originality.
Yeah, I don't want to go in that part.
Okay.
About Blanta people.
Oh, fair. They might come for us. Do they have podcasts in Blanta? Never mind. Join us might be listening.
Yeah. This is how Africa. You know those conversations. I have people.
Let's go for it. We're ready.
Okay, let's jump into your personal reflection, specifically about the fintech space. Like, what excites you most about the next 5 years in the African fintech space? And I think you might have touched it, saying that Africa is like a sleeping bear, man. Yeah, which is the moment of awakening happens. Yeah, it means that people that were ready, people that were building, people that had something, will just capture the market. 100%. Yeah. So I think it's just we have such latent ability, right? So like I could literally step outside of this room and find it. They're already there. I can see the corner of my eye. But like such talented human beings, right? All I need is like just access. Yeah, true.
Right? Just access, like that's why I guess,
True.
but just access to opportunities, access to knowledge, skills, and that's something that, I mean, you and I are fortunate to.
Yeah.
Like, we're curious, yes, but we've also been in situations where someone has told you, okay, have you seen Udemy? Okay, all right, that's nice. Have you seen Coursera? Oh, that's nice. And we've learned so much from there, and then that's like broadened our horizons, right?
True.
So, I mean, I look at, let's say, people doing, there's a lot of e-commerce sites. There's practically one every other week.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And there's a lot similar with ride-hailing apps. I know 5 people working on ride-hailing apps as we speak.
Okay.
Right? But it's a race, right?
Yeah.
The once everything else is set and people adopt e-commerce, whoever is leading will win.
Yeah, and I think that's what even happens with even the Telco business.
Yeah.
Even for Malawi and even in other emerging countries.
Yeah.
Companies that went in those markets when Airtel was coming, when it was I don't know what was his name that time.
Celtel. Or wasn't it? What's that? Zain before Celtel. Zain, Celtel, and then Airtel. Yeah, I think.
So coming in, the market was smaller.
Yeah.
But they were here.
Yeah.
They were cultivating the market.
I remember
building the market.
I remember my friend buying a Curve, a BlackBerry Curve, for 50,000 quite.
Yeah.
And this is 50,000 is a lot of money.
That was a lot of money. That
was a lot of money.
That person was rich.
I had.
Yeah, because 50,000. You're buying a BlackBerry. That time people would have like what? I don't know.
Damn.
So you would have companies coming in and knowing that okay, fine. If MTN is coming to Malawi, they're not going to win Airtel.
Yeah.
It's going to be a difficult ride for them even just to win on top of Airtel and TNM.
Yeah.
Because these guys have been here. They have won all the hearts of people. Yes, they can have weird internet from time to time. Yeah. But what has happened is we have believed in them. Kids are born knowing 2 companies.
Yeah. SIM1 and
SIM2.
Which one is your SIM1?
I have 2 phones.
That's a cop out. Okay, which one is your main phone? Your main phone has what SIM?
Okay, so main phone in terms of what?
Okay, which one is the one that you always have on your person?
Both.
You have both all the time?
All the time, I both.
Your wife must not be happy with you.
Oh, okay.
Very dodgy behavior.
I have both. I have 2 phones.
Yeah.
But if I want to call, I use my Airtel. Because I usually buy bundle from there.
There we go. But if so SIM1 is Airtel.
Yeah, but if I want to do WhatsApp, I use my channel.
Nah, it's a running joke, man. They should run a campaign on that. SIM1 and SIM2.
Yeah, it's a good one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think coming into a market early is an opportunity. That's why I was even asking you that question about.
But not too early, because timing matters.
Yeah, too early. Sometimes you will waste a lot of money.
Sometimes. The high fives and mix it and all. Yeah. That was too early.
That was too early. If they came in right now, they could have made a lot of money. Exactly. TikTok came in, found the place already cleared. Yeah. And when people are like, "Hey, TikTok," I'm like, "Okay, guys."
Have you seen Izemo?
Izemo.
IZE. Mo MALL.
Is it like a?
It's an e-commerce site as well.
E-commerce, yeah, I know it.
Brilliant idea, man.
I know it.
Brilliant idea.
It was done by.
I forget the fella's name, but yeah, I did some marketing proposals for him.
I know these guys.
Yeah.
But where am I forgetting Izemo?
Yeah. But yes.
No, I need to know.
It's gonna bug you.
Yeah, it's gonna.
So very and it's a situation where I'm not sure if it's still operating. But if that is just if it comes back with it at the right timing, oh my days!
I think Esau, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember this platform.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah, I had an idea that I know this.
You know what I mean?
I think because I've never done a platform like this one before.
What haven't you done?
I don't even know, man. I've developed and failed several times.
Which is how you get successful, by the way.
People don't understand.
Yeah.
If they have a conversation with me about anything, just me anything. Even if we're talking about rockets.
Apart from theology.
No, even theology. You don't want to know
this. You don't want to talk.
No, I can tell you.
Oh, no, I love
it. Used to be a collegian, man. Like,
is it proper?
I've preached in different classes, man.
Like with the, what's this?
Yes. Okay. I've led Like
that's an interesting.
different.
You've lived an interesting life.
I've lived a very interesting life. But
Yeah.
I've been in the church for so much time
Oh my
where
days.
I've preached.
Yeah.
But I've also been in business for so much time where I've done business.
Is that how you
failed.
met late Wombali?
No, Leo Mbala, I met him because of the Minister of Trade
Okay.
Trade now, Vito
Yeah.
Kumumba.
Okay.
Yeah, so him, I had a company back then
Ah.
in Zuzu. So we're doing marketing.
Ah.
So Mumba, being someone from the north,
Yes.
loved to work with people that were emerging that space. He
Nice.
liked us, we're young people,
Of course.
ambitious.
Yeah.
So he was like, okay, I have two others that I'm supporting. It was him and there's another guy. Why am I even forgetting? But yeah, there were two of them.
Okay.
All Tumbuka native speakers that were very good and they were doing music in Tumbuka. So he said, can you work with me on Wambali? And that's how he knew Wambali.
That's another interesting story.
Yeah, but it's funny. But yeah, it is that time I was working with this company. I was building this company in Zuzu. It's called My Talented. And then also I was going everywhere. That time we were doing marketing. The marketing was a big thing. Digital marketing was a big thing.
Of course.
There was a time.
Everyone's an expert.
Yes. I used to be an expert in digital marketing. Trust me. So that time, I worked with so many people.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a time.
Interesting time.
It was a time.
Yeah.
But yeah, coming back to this whole idea,
Yeah.
I still think we need to be visionary.
Mm-hmm.
When you're thinking about Africa.
Okay.
You need to look at Africa from a perspective where there will be a moment when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And when it does.
Definitely. You don't
be in.
You don't want to be outside the club.
I remember this first time you and I were talking, I think we met at BTC, you were saying that you want to go into the content space.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking that at some point we're going to open up the doors for
content
monetization.
And
if you're going to be on top of it.
If you are... because the Mikozis, the Akometis, I see a lot of up and coming, they are there. And they are going to be the first to read. But there's so much more space for content creators. My yebos.
Oh, that guy.
My friend. So, Doug.
This is how Africa. Yes, it's content, right?
Content.
Yes, content. There's a lot that is happening in this space. I think platforms that are building right now.
Yeah.
They need to know that we are closer.
We are there, man.
You think we're so close, right?
I'm telling you, it's a matter of, because, I might be privileged because, I've had conversations with people that are working on these things, right? But, just even on the outside looking in, you can tell, people are believing in their content, they're spending time on their content. Yeah. Right? They're investing in their content.
Man, it pains me when I even think about...
Yeah.
I have another person coming. We're going to talk about content monetization.
Okay.
Yeah. It's going to be pretty much more of a course.
Interesting.
Yes, I'm talking to Malinga because he's always big on content.
I saw the one he did with Brandon and them.
Yeah.
He touched in it. He didn't really.
No. So this time around,
he's gonna break it down.
Yeah, we're gonna.
Now that's great.
Platform to say, what can you do even now with all these restrictions? How can you still do that?
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, when you look online and find that people are living off TikTok money.
And you're like, how?
And you look at their numbers, like,
how?
Better numbers.
Exactly. But
me, man.
But people, okay. We have brands in Malawi that can advertise on YouTube if they were given the chance.
Yes, and I think they're just struggling because of how to move that money to the YouTube. The question we're talking about, if there was Airtel money connected to YouTube, imagine what would happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
I think
there are a lot of brands that would use TikTok for advertising, right?
And if we could get there, that's when I think even the marketing people would say, okay, fine, we're seeing traffic of advertisers in Malawi.
Yes.
We need to make sure that we have more eyeballs in Malawi. That's when they'll pay us.
Because the only way content creators get paid if people invest and say, hey, I want eyeballs in Malawi.
Yeah.
Right? And you guys have eyeballs.
Yeah.
Right?
True, man. Content is going to be a big
content
thing.
Is where the money is.
And I think people are talking about Africa as the next place because we have interesting stories.
Yes.
Do you know?
Yeah.
I just to digress a bit. Do you know that if there is a country or a continent that has mastered the art of telling their stories better, is Asia? Man, when you hear the stories from China,
Okay.
the way they tell the stories about this
The founders.
Japan,
Yeah.
there was this king,
There's
so much rich.
I think because they preserve the history really well, right? Like you see, I think it's National Bank. They're trying to make Kamuzu Palace in Kasungu like a museum. Right? They have every president in America has a national library. Right?
That's interesting.
That's so. I think they just have ways of documenting.
Yeah.
Like I have a friend. What's his name? Jerry. But anyway, he's trying to do digital. He's trying to archive everything we have in the museum and then digitalize it, so that you can go through. Even like I don't know if it's going VR or anything like that, but like imagine just immersing yourself in like you know we keep newspapers from I think from like the 60s. We have newspapers from the 60s.
Yeah,
right?
I've seen some. Yeah,
so
where you see a car being sold at.
So digitalizing all that stuff, for instance, but then we need to find a way of one documenting our history.
True, I agree with you,
right?
And I think there's a lot of money that could be made if we go that direction. If we keep our history perfect and we got to in that space.
Yeah.
Cool. What are you currently obsessed with? Any new tech ideas?
Myself.
Yeah.
Trends. Nah. So ideas. I'm obsessed. Content. To be honest.
Content.
So as I was telling you earlier, I'm really obsessed with YouTube Shorts. So I try my best not to dig too deep because you can find yourself in a hole.
Yeah.
But essentially, it's the idea that at a time I used to really I used to wake up and literally just watch Vusi, Tim McGuire's videos, for instance. And I think one thing that I learned from him, which made me stop watching Vusi videos, because time.
Which is funny, right?
Yeah,
exactly. Talking that time is
crazy.
It's like
it's crazy.
Gold.
So now I block my time, right? So this fascinating, I just take maybe 30 minutes in a day, just geopolitics, just understanding, I just hear Iran and Iraq, what happened?
Yeah.
Then dig into that. So just I think understanding history. There's someone on Twitter, I forget what the handle is, but they break down Malawi history. I love it. Man, I love it.
I took history classes from my university. Yes, university partially, but from secondary school. I used to be in love with history, the whole story of how Malawi formed through the Nyasaland days, before even that, all the kingdoms that came through from within this space passing by and creating what we have now as life. These things and history is the best teacher. When you go back to history, you'll find that these things that are happening have happened before.
Because if you don't know your history, you're bound to repeat it. Right?
Yeah. So and I will tell you that if we could find a way, if that guy who's thinking about digitizing the whole archive,
man.
If he goes even to just create a easy, consumable pieces of content that people could learn about Malawi,
because people don't
even Africa
don't know, right? I mean, we've gone through a lot of regimes, but that aside, just the history of how all these tribes came in, running away from different wars, right? So Marumba said we're a country that's formed of people that ran away from other countries. That's why we're meek.
Yes,
in his words, Marumba said.
No, I agree with that.
Is it?
The reason Malawi is not aggressive. Malawians are not aggressive. Malawians are not. They don't ask questions in meetings. They're not. They don't go in that rabbit hole.
You honestly believe that?
I believe in that. I believe.
Also, let me ask you a question before we start.
Yeah.
When is the last time food was presented to you at a restaurant? Let's say you ordered something and it's not let's say meat is not done the way you wanted. What did you have you ever sent it back to the kitchen?
No, man. I've complained, but I've eaten the first.
So that's the meekness we're talking about.
Yes, I've complained and I've eaten the food. And I'll tell you that if the same happened in different countries,
Yeah.
people will be like vocal about it. They will explain.
Of course.
This is
not what I
ordered.
wanted. Yeah.
And it's gonna be normal.
Of course.
That's why even when
here people are gonna start looking.
I don't wanna say anything. You see, I feel like that disadvantages.
Mike and no vote.
But I don't take that.
Yeah.
The same way is the same thing with if work.
Okay.
I'll tell you that and people are always romanticizing the whole process of I want to work in the US.
Okay.
Guys, are you sure? Because people there are gonna give you F words like it's a normal thing.
Of course, man.
They're like this is trash. Man.
If they ask you to do something and you're not doing it,
they
have every right. They have every right to be like, hey, mate, like you saying you could do this. But it's not what I asked.
No, I asked. And it's trash, man. Go back and do it.
Is this what you call develop in Malawi?
You're gonna do that to Malawian.
Yeah.
This is trash.
No. No, he will knock off, go home, and come back next week.
I will resign.
Yeah, I will resign.
I think we're so soft.
A bit docile.
Yeah, and for me, that's my argument of why
is where we are.
Go there, but why?
How many podcasts are we saving? Conversations.
I'm saving because some of these conversations they work best with podcast Malawi.
Okay.
Because of the nature.
But
I want to say, I was to say this thought because it's coming in right now.
Yeah.
The reason I think Malawi is not there, even against our neighbors in terms of development, is because we are not angry enough. And I've argued about this. We're not angry people. Angry with just being uncomfortable with the status quo. I say, for myself, I don't care what is happening within the country, but for me, I have to develop to a point that I don't rely on subsidy or anything else. That level of angriness, and for you to work with anger is not there. I'll tell you.
Even demanding more from your leaders.
Even demanding more, which is a different conversation. But even for you to say, I'm fed up.
Yeah, I'm done.
I'm done.
I'm done. Like,
and I'm gonna work.
It's do or die.
Yeah, it's do or die. I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
How many people are just sitting with their ideas at home? How many people are just sleeping?
Now I feel like you're pointing on me. That's
sorry. But how many people? There's so many people.
A lot. I'll be the first to say.
Or just like, I'm gonna do it later.
Absolutely.
You don't want to fight. If you meet an obstacle, you push the product. People say, I don't like this product.
We're comfortable.
Yeah. If people tell you that I don't like the product, you're like, let me stop.
Yeah.
No,
dog. Yeah, we're comfortable people.
We're comfortable. I still feel this is a thing. That's why countries that have angry people. In terms of aggressiveness. Nigeria, man.
Kenyans as well.
Kenyans. Aggressive, man.
West Africans in general.
So I'll tell you that even if you compare pastors. In Nigeria, they're more successful than pastors because they are angry. Because success is, I feel like
you can tell the passion.
Yes. Success is never space. Every sphere. So whether it's in the marketplace, there's in whatever format, church or whatever, you will find the success is still the same. Crazy, man. Let me not go on there.
Anyway,
you're dragging me to.
I am sorry.
A different space.
I apologize.
Which is not how it is.
We need this passion.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So, what advice would you give to your 22-year-old? How old are you?
31, man.
Yeah, so 22 years.
I was turning 32 in February next year, and I feel 40, man.
You feel 40 already, huh?
I feel like I've done a lot.
You've done a lot. I love that kind of setup.
Yeah.
If you're gonna look at my CV.
Yeah.
My CV, if I'm gonna document everything that I've done,
it
should be 50. No, it was 60 pages.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how long my CV is.
Wow.
If I document whatever that I've done professionally.
You know, I've done that. Yeah? I've done that. So I call it a list of accomplishments, but to be honest though, like, but I myself, but like, you know,
that's your story.
I know it is, but still,
other people will just even put like volunteering kind of roles and everything.
I mean, that's part of your story, man.
Which I know people do, but I don't put in a volunteering stuff.
100%.
But if I do, then that would be 70. Wow. But I'm telling you that there's something that happens with people like you and me that are always desiring for more.
But all those things shape you.
They shape you.
Right? Because now, even when you're doing things like this, right, you can bring in all those aspects, right?
All the aspects. That's why I told you that I'm at the level that if we're gonna have a conversation about
Yeah.
agriculture, I'm gonna talk for hours. If we're gonna have a conversation about health, I'm
Yeah.
gonna talk for hours because I've been involved in projects,
Yeah.
discussions, and
Yeah.
everything that has
Yeah.
shaped me. I'm 35 right now.
Yeah.
5 years to 40, but I feel old sometimes
Wow.
because of the experiences and meeting people,
Yeah. Man.
bosses that have told you that you're trash, and some that have said that you're the best.
Yeah. You see
the process.
Exactly.
But anyway, what would you say to your 22?
To my 22-year-old.
Yeah.
What was I doing?
Now.
Yeah.
With
man.
what you know right now.
With what I know right now is just start, man. Because I think there's a lot of things that I could have, like, I'm saying I've done a lot, but there's a lot more things that, like, I could have done, man.
I also think the same. I think I've waited for a long time to do some other things.
That's exactly, right?
Yeah.
So just start. Because I could have failed then, and I could have learned.
Which is okay, and you could
Which
not
is
have kept
perfectly
that
fine.
guiltiness.
Because now I don't know, right? I mean, like with my partners, I bring Mara quite a lot because like he's one of those, you know how Mara.
Yeah. No,
So
we
we did something called Infotech, for instance, right?
Yeah.
Which is US like a bulk SMS platform.
Yeah.
So we're talking in schools, for instance, like organization, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But like even something like that, if we had started earlier, would have failed earlier, learned,
which is okay, man.
Which is
It
fine.
would have helped you to save your time now.
Which is exactly because now like there's certain things like I look back, I'm like, what if I actually went through with that idea?
Yeah.
Like would my like story be different?
Yeah.
Like so definitely just start.
Let's start.
Just start.
Let's start. I've studied so many things in my life.
Yeah.
Failed in a bunch of them.
Which is fine.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
And every time I come here and I'm like, okay, if someone's saying that's why I saw when Ism was coming.
Yes.
I was like, okay. Someone would be like, okay, they have simplified payment.
Yes.
They have simplified not payment, but they have simplified the way for me to buy groceries and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I did that platform a while ago.
Because you know the pain point.
Yeah, the pain point is that the Malawian consumer is an experienced consumer. Yes. They want to experience the process.
They want to go through the pain.
They want to go through the pain.
They want to wait in the line, the queue. They want to go to the shop. They want to compare, they know exactly what they want, but they want to,
So if I was to build that
context, and that's understanding people. That's understanding consumer behavior. Which is ultimately people.
If I were to develop something like that right now, it would be a different one. It won't be just the payment process. It won't be just how.
I think that's why Doorbell is doing really well. Because they didn't say okay. They just say okay. Like we understand you are there. We're here. We're just trying to get you the stuff. And then soon they might have, because they haven't integrated the payments in the app yet.
Oh.
But once that happens, that's another
thing.
Because now you I think you pay when the guy comes.
With Doorbell you pay when the person comes.
Right?
Which is,
so imagine when the payments are integrated. And then now it becomes something. And there's an interesting thing I was watching, sorry I digress, but super apps and why they don't work in like a WeChat, why it wouldn't work in
the Western
right? Right? Do you think it's something that Malawi, not a WeChat super app, but like an app that integrates one or two aspects? So ride hailing, for instance, and let's say a Doorbell that also, like Doorbell had ride hailing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's another thing. And I think it's not easy to push so many things with a Malawi consumer from where I'm sitting.
Okay.
I think it's not easy to push so many things.
Yeah.
They like one thing for one thing.
Alright. They don't want to get confused. Like Alonda is confusing.
Yeah. I have argued that Alonda is a good idea.
Yeah.
But it's too much.
It's a directory. It's yellow pages.
Yeah, but it's too much.
Yeah.
I think that's why I'm saying that. I wish I launched most of the products that I want to launch right now.
Okay.
Sooner.
Alright.
Because the more you wait, the more you think about other aspects to add, which is not good.
Which is not good at all.
You have to make sure that you just have an MVP.
MVP, man.
And push it.
Go.
And have one line.
And the market
will direct you.
The market will tell you.
Developing is not a problem.
Never. The market will tell you.
The problem is the people liking your product.
The market will tell you, like, hey, we don't need all this.
Don't struggle with all this subscription.
This is the stuff we want. And then just dial into that.
Just focus on that.
100%.
So I think this whole idea of bringing like a super app, bring everything together, would be difficult in the process like this. I'll give you an example why I say this is so. This phone I have here, maybe this one is might be advanced, but this is a Redmi.
Okay.
This Redmi phone. So many missed calls. This Redmi phone. Is like a simple phone. From an iPhone. But I'll tell you, even this phone, so many of us we don't know how to use this phone.
Like there's so many features. Exactly.
We can't use to its full capacity.
Because even the NFC, the thing with like tapping, right?
Yeah.
I can do this.
Exactly. It's part of your offer right now. But
I haven't like Google. What's this called? Google Wallet.
Yeah.
Like I recently, as in 2 months ago, just realized that can actually happen here. Like I had no idea.
It's funny.
I had no idea. Like a few attended, and this is how I knew that people are like in Malawi, right? So I go to a few attended, and I give him my phone. He wasn't shocked at all. He just took it, tapped. I'm not the first one, because I was like, I have to explain.
I have to explain.
I have to tell. Like, you know what I mean, right?
Phone is like,
and I'm like, kind of easy.
Yeah, you are the one who's like the partner, right?
I'm the one late.
But I'll argue that. Even WhatsApp. WhatsApp is even complex now that people don't even know how to use WhatsApp for business.
And there's so many features.
There's so many features that are there. So I don't think the Malawian consumer is looking for so many features.
Okay.
I think the Malawian consumer, when it comes to products, or most of Africa, I would argue.
Do you think apps is something that's feasible here?
They are. And I think
specific apps.
Specific.
Okay.
Don't
ride hailing.
Yes.
Doorbell aside.
Yes.
Like,
say I want to call for food. I want to go somewhere.
Yes.
I want like a taxi or something.
Yeah.
I want to.
For Alonda, for instance, they have the. I like the blue collar work, so you can check on the app and find blue collar work close to you, something like that. Like if I want a plumber.
I like it.
I think
we're
that's
building something like that here as well. It's coming out.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that feature is embedded, is deep.
Is hidden by
so many things.
All the clutter.
Because when you hear Alonda,
Yeah.
They're giving you the nurture of security.
Which is, honestly, in my opinion, they should have stuck with that.
For me, I was like, if you had just given me...
Yeah.
Because when I heard about it, I installed right away.
Because you had a good feature. I told my wife about it.
I was thinking
I'm like, yo,
security.
exactly. Because it has that panic button type thing.
I was thinking about security.
100%.
But don't give it too much.
Like, don't add things that are necessary.
Before you even consulted. I think Maya has done this consultation.
Talk to him.
Yeah, I think I will.
Talk to him. Bring him on, actually.
I'll bring him.
Bring him on.
I'll tell him that. Bro,
talk to him.
Go back.
Yeah.
Start from security. Offer security first for now.
I wouldn't be mad if they like vertically integrated like with an actual like GeForce.
That's it.
I wouldn't mind that.
I wouldn't mind. I will subscribe to say, okay, fine, wherever I am. If I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we think.
And if I click this, somebody's coming.
Yes. Sometimes we think we can find everybody, but that's not true, man. Even if you have you're up in the night. And you have realized that. Imagine you have realized that okay, there's a robber in my house.
Yes.
Come on, you're not the best person to deal with the situation.
I locked the door. I told my wife. Yeah. She hears noises outside. Yeah. My baby, we're sleeping.
Lock.
It'll go.
Don't go out. You're not gonna win that.
No.
You're not gonna win that.
Like the maid will come. Hey, there's a snake outside. I'm like, no, don't worry. Don't worry. It'll go.
Yeah.
It'll go.
Because there are people who are so positioned to deal with that.
Exactly.
Don't go for it.
They're the experts.
Don't go for it.
Yeah, so you're not the expert. Just
you're not the
expert. The takeaway should be you're not the expert.
You're gonna go there, meet the robber who's in your house, who's gonna beat you.
Who's an expert?
He's gonna beat you in front of your wife and kids,
and then
leave you lifeless and go.
Exactly.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
So I think Alonda would have focused on that and give us we're giving you security wherever you are.
Yes.
Whenever you want it. And we're gonna give it to you. So it's not, if I feel like
personal bodyguard.
Yes.
I would love that.
I would love that. I would subscribe. I'm telling you, I'm gonna subscribe. Yeah. There's no service like that.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna subscribe and go, hey guys, if someone is always about to beat me, I'm just gonna panic. They'll come here, my bouncer, and they'll be like, what's happening here?
100%.
So I'll tell you, we need to slow down on multiple features.
Okay.
We need to think about entry features only.
All right.
What makes this app work? From onboarding,
yes,
to experiencing the service,
to
rating the service, and to paying this for the service and then exiting on the platform.
Okay.
That process flow, if it's done properly, with a simple description, we're done.
I love it.
Telling you. Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's conclude, man. Let's go to a few quick questions for you.
Okay.
Give me one word that describes each country you have worked in. So let's say Malawi, Lesotho, and Botswana. So give me one word for each.
Malawi would be. Whew. Let me start with Botswana.
Yes.
Botswana active.
Active?
Right? Small population, but 80% mobile money penetration is active. Right. Lesotho growing. Very small population, but I think they're doing like, I don't know, plus 4% every quarter.
Oh,
like it's crazy.
Oh, wow.
Right. Malawi would be disjointed. Right. We didn't really touch in like interoperability or all that aspect, but like
because
all these things are there, and we're getting there, but everything is scattered.
Yes, scattered. Yeah.
Everything is scattered. So yeah, scattered would be the word.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Finish this sentence for me.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give you a sentence. Finish it for me. In 5 years, African fintech will be So let's start.
Okay.
In 5 years, African fintech will be
the best place, the most active environment to do business.
Amazing. I like it. The most active environment to do business is Africa.
You've heard it.
You
have a nice Yeah.
Okay. You're working with so many mobile companies in different countries.
Meaning? Sorry.
So for instance, in Botswana, obviously you're working with different other mobile companies.
Like MNOs, yes.
MNOs,
yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah. So you're working with a bunch of them.
Yes, yes.
So give me your top 3 mobile money platforms that you know. MNOs
in Africa. I mean, there's the top 3 is very, very set.
Yes,
so
one.
M-Pesa.
M-Pesa.
You can't like that would be like sacrosanct. But yeah, M-Pesa, Airtel, and Momo, which is MTN Momo.
Yeah. Momo is big also in Uganda, right?
Yes. They are M-Pesa isn't everywhere, but like Vodacom, so so they are everywhere.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's the end of our podcast.
Awesome, man. It's been a pleasure, man.
It's been fun. An amazing ride with you.
Yeah.
You came through, so I invited this guy just like an hour before the show.
An hour and a half.
And then you came through. Yeah, you saved me. You saved this episode.
Anytime,
it's coming on the when people are gonna be on holiday.
Okay.
On Monday. So,
Anytime, man.
Happy that you came through.
Awesome.
And obviously you're gonna come back so we can talk more about Africa, maybe from a different lens.
Okay.
From
the
one we discussed.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming through.
Anytime, man. Appreciate it.
Guys, until next time, this is Hi Africa. Subscribe and make sure that you're part of this community. Bring those questions. I was told by someone that people are using this episode to learn about.
I did. I learned a lot, man. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah. The guests that I'm having on this platform, I don't know.
Very insightful. Very insightful.
Something, and I know people are gonna learn with this one. People that are in school, that are building that are doing IT or something.
Yeah.
Are learning so much on this platform, knowing what to do and what not to do, and learning from how we failed. So that they don't.
Failing is a part of success.
It's good, man.
Yeah,
it's good. So until next time, McDonald is my name. We are out.